The Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
You smell that? Do you catch that subtle scent in the air? That is the smell of corruption season, baby. Welcome back to the number one Contender podcast, the show where your favorite nerds talk all things movie, trivia, schmodown. I am your host and resident corruption stan, Jarod Bachman Stubbs. And joining me, as always, is the one, the only, the quirky merc, the one who has to put up with me having all the time in the world to do my corruption standing uninterrupted up top. Travis Grossman.
I don't know what you're smelling, but I think you're having a stroke, Jarod.
I smell. It smells of three belts, is what it smells like. It smells of three.
So you're
belts.
smelling like burning rubber. That's
Maybe.
a stroke, my friend.
A stroke of genius. Because we're going for the three-peat, baby. 3 years of corruption supremacy. Yes, Mike has won one match so far this season, and this is where we're starting. This is the level. The latency is also incredible today, so this echo is really bothering me. That's beside the point. So I'm a little slow getting moving to say words because I'm distracted by the sound of my own voice. But before we get started and get into the episode of Friday Night Titans, a brief word from our sponsors at sundaysbloodymary.com. Go to sundaysbloodymary.com/shop to get access to the most badass, good as hell Bloody Mary accoutrement on the planet. They got the award-winning Spicy Caesar mix, my favorite, the mild mix, the vegan mix. They got the subscription box, so you get 2 jars each month to get your bloody fix on. They got their pickled garnishes with the dilly beans, okra, and asparagus, and the dad hat that is in my cart. So go to sundaysbloodymary.com/shop. Use code TNAP at checkout, TNAP, and get 10% off your order, and you help out your favorite nerds while you do it. Travis, before we even talk about the matches this week, we have big news about my favorite division. News that I was very surprised by. News that, truth be told, I'm not. What? Can you still hear me?
Yeah, you cut I lost 3 words of whatever you said.
I know. I was playing around with the voice meter trying to lessen the latency. How do I sound?
Still good.
Good. I fixed the latency problem. Look at me go. So, speaking of Star Wars, Clone Wars is trending on Twitter. Per
That's
the
scary.
movie trivia schmodown. What was that?
So that's anytime I see like a piece of media I enjoy trending, I get scared now.
So I can probably tell you why Clone Wars is trending. Yesterday, there was an article in Entertainment Weekly where apparently Hayden Christensen said he watched all of Clone Wars and Rebels to prepare for Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay.
So that's probably why Clone Wars is trending. I would assume. Anyway, the Star Wars division is going to become a Patreon exclusive. So the Star Wars, per the Schmoed on Twitter, The Star Wars division is coming to Patreon starting next month. Hashtag Star Wars matches will begin premiering every other week to some of our patrons. And it is at the $12 tier, the tier that used to be the $10 tier, where you got all the live events and early access. Well, now this is also the home of the Star Wars division. Here's how I'm going to describe it. I really don't like this decision at all. I say that as a $12 patron. This doesn't fucking affect me.
Yeah,
and I share my account with you, so it's not like you're going to be missing the Star Wars division either.
I'm also not a fan of it. As some, like, in the same way that I don't like watching ads on my YouTube videos, you know, like, on one hand, yeah, it stinks. On the other hand, they have to make money somehow.
Yeah, I get that. Okay. I want to put it this way. Before I,
I'm not.
before I
That's
start,
not directed. That's not directed at you, by the way. That's just like in general. I understand that this is the easiest way to draw in patrons.
I want to put it this way, and I know that there are people who are involved with the Schmodown who are aware of and watch our show. And that is viewership that you and I are both incredibly grateful for and appreciate very much. And when I became aware of such a viewer, you and I both kind of had a holy shit moment. So I want to say up top, the movie trivia Schmodown is one of my favorite things ever. I have gotten to make friends with people in the community. Without the movie trivia Schmodown, I don't think Eli from Star Wars in a Galaxy, I don't think he and I would have hit it off as well as we did if we did not have the shared love of the movie trivia Schmodown. The movie trivia Schmodown is something I hold near and dear to my heart because it's something I share with one of my best friends, being obviously Travis. It like the movie trivia Schmodown is it's my sport. People have football, people have baseball. I have the Schmodown, and I am so grateful for its existence and so incredibly ecstatic to see how it is growing. And my fandom of it started with Star Wars. Obviously. um, I've talked about it before. I'm one of the people who jumped in with that big Fatal 5-way back whenever The Last Jedi was coming out. I love Star Wars is my favorite division. And I want to preface how much I love the Schmodown and undyingly respect the people involved with it. I want to make that clear because it's one of those things that I don't like. I feel weird criticizing the Schmodown in the same way that I feel weird criticizing like other content creator friends, where it's like, I know you don't have a bottomless budget. I know like the elements of we are all humans trying to make content about the things that we love, that because we don't have a bottomless budget, mistakes slip through. There's production issues. None of us really have media training for the most part, so there's gaffes sometimes. All of that stuff. I like for the movie trivia Schmodown. It's like they're putting on an amazing show that like I only have to pay $12 a month now, and it's been $10 from almost all of my time to get extra content for this thing that I love. I hold the Schmodown on a very high pedestal, and I want to make that clear. And I don't want to make it sound like I'm kissing ass. I feel gross criticizing the Schmodown because I feel like it's mean spirited to do so sometimes. That said, I think this is a mistake. I think there's a lot of people who get pulled into the Schmodown via Star Wars. I like the amount of people, like the amount of content creators, like you brought this up on our last episode. The Star Wars division is by and large exclusively Star Wars content creators. It is almost exclusively made up of people who base their entire online presence around Star Wars. Alex, Molly, Laura, um, Joe Scrimshaw. I know Ken doesn't play anymore, but Ken, so many of these people, Andrew DeMolanta and Nikki, because they do a show together as well. Like there's so many of these people that like they pull fans in from what they do because it's Star Wars. And maybe it's just because I'm a part of the Star Wars fan, Star Wars trivia lover, movie trivia schmodown pipeline that I'm a little biased here, and that maybe I'm putting too much. Maybe I'm putting too much of a premium on that pipeline. But I don't think I'm unique in my journey to Schmodown fandom. I don't. And I think that after how a Star Wars match set the tone for last season of nobody is safe. This is going to be the year of upsets. Hold on to your ass because it's about to get wild. That now it's getting relegated to being basically a novelty division again. And one that's like a bonus division. I feel I don't want I don't want to say cheated because we've already gotten so much great shit from this season, and we're only like how many like a month and a half in, but I kind of feel cheated by this as the person who loves Star Wars and the Star Wars division over everything else. Travis, you clearly have something to say. I'll give you the floor.
Are all the matches going to be locked behind Patreon forever, or is this?
They haven't said, but it looks like bi-weekly or no. Yeah, it says exclusively. So
I would
I
assume.
guess save for title matches at like Collision and Spectacular.
I would assume that they come out like the week after they're on Patreon, or there's like a release schedule. They hit Patreon at a specific time, and then eventually they come out. There's no way. Logistically, there's no way that Star Wars becomes a Patreon only division. They know that that's just not something that will work. Now, in terms of getting people to become patrons, you get to watch Star Wars early. That works. In the same way that, people get parts of you get parts of Friday Night Titans early. Before it was you get like a match like the day before you get the match.
I'm looking at the Patreon right now. Patreon right now, exclusive access to Star Wars division matches every other Wednesday. It's Patreon only. And I get it. You got to make that money. I don't know. It feels like the re-noveltyification of Star Wars.
Well, and the part of that issue is it became a quote unquote real division last year in the digital era where no one had to fly out, no one had to move. And
That's
so we
true.
could recruit
That's
all
fair.
these people that were great at the game. Just, because Star Wars is the division where you don't have to be good at the schmodown. You just have to be good at trivia. So
That's
being
true.
able to
That's
recruit
true.
all of these content creators was great for the digital era. Now, the other option they could have gone was just Star Wars stays digital. But then you don't get to do the fun storyline things that they're committed to doing this season and all the fun in-person hubbubs. So if you have to pay to get people in the studio, this might be the only way to justify that spending. I have a feeling that exclusive access means like exclusive for a week, and if it's bi-weekly, that like it'll be an A-B schedule where A is the Patreon week, B is the public week.
I hope you're right, because again, and again, I feel so bad talking shit about this.
Because then what that means is when we get the title
as
match,
$12, yeah,
when the title match rolls around, and that's just going to be a pay-per-view, probably, that any storyline built up in the Star Wars division won't matter because half the people watching won't know about it. So there has to be some access outside of the Patreon at some point, unless all of it stays Patreon locked, which then is either going to make you a lot of patrons or potentially alienate the Star Wars division. And I don't know where I'm going with this.
here's what I
My
will
brain
say.
fried.
No, you're good. You're good.
I need more of these to make fully formed sentences.
As a $12 patron, I hope that the general public gets to see the Star Wars division in some way, shape, or form. We can move on to the matches this week. There's another big announcement we got to talk about. But yeah, I'm not thrilled. I understand the decision. They got to do what they got to do. And I will always support the Schmodown. But this is one rare instance where I am very much against the decision that they made.
And we have seen in this past where there's an announcement from the General Schmodown, and people have a similar reaction to what we're having now. Usually not as calm.
Yeah,
you know, it's Facebook comments, so everyone's screaming, and then Christian's like, "No, sorry, I need to clarify here. This is what's happening."
And again, yeah,
or
and
here's why we have to do it this way. And he's always incredibly forward about why certain decisions are made, or okay, we're gonna change this because everyone said, like he's excellent at talking to the fans. So
I agree with you completely. And again, I will, my subscription is not going to change. My status as a fan does not change. I am upset with the decision, but it is what it is. One other quick thing, and then we're going to jump into the trivia for the week. And also, Travis and I have to make plans about how we're going to watch this, because I think this is happening during your Magic thing.
Oh, absolutely.
So we'll figure that out. I figured it was. We'll make it work. We'll figure it out. We have free for all on the horizon, baby. 40 competitors all working for a title shot. What surprise guest will show up? Who will be the MVP? Who will win it all? Schmodown Free for All 5 is April 30th. So stay tuned for that little nugget. So Jacoby Bancroft v. Clee Wiggins. Dawn of T. It's a good match.
Yeah.
It's a good match.
Are they a faction now? Are they just hanging out? Nobody knows.
Are they just hanging out? I am really looking forward to I'm really enjoying, I should say, Mark Yodi Riley Last Jedi Luke.
Mm-hmm.
I know Mark made the same joke, and I'm glad he did, because then I felt justified in my. This is very, who are you? But yeah, no, I liked it. I think Clee. I really enjoyed Clee Wiggins. She put on a very underrated match last year, where she spun opponents and then won via KO. I like Clee. I like this match. I think it was a lot of fun. And
what she should have learned from this match is now she has to go for the wild cards hit opponent's choice, because even though she won, she still did better on opponent's choice. That's her slice.
Yeah, she really is. It's a superpower. It is a superpower of hers. Yeah, there's not a whole lot to talk about there, just aside from
both played really well. Both had, they both went. This is a shakier category for me, but I need to shore up that I'm not going to hit a wild card, and we end up at that very punchy round 3.
Yeah.
Jacoby had a lot of it's either this or this questions, and
oh yeah, that's always the worst. I feel bad for somebody watching that happen. Like again, not that I've played in the Schmodown, but like trivia stuff I have done where it's where you want to just put your head through a wall. Like I'd rather confidently say the wrong thing than be stuck between a
your
50-50
options are
toss
right.
up.
Yeah.
It was like, I mean, it's like Mike's one of Mike's round 2 ones, like, lung cancer, leukemia. And they're like, well, we need you to pick one. Okay. Multiple choice. Your options are A, lung cancer, B, leukemia. And never did I think that lung cancer would get that big of a laugh in the movie Trivia Schmodown, but here we are. That was funny. But yeah. So hop on into the next match. This is weird now that we're like only doing like 2 matches a week.
Yeah,
It just hit me that this is a brief show now. We're not hysterically behind.
Part of the reason my name says funny name that's too long is everything I kept thinking of that was in relation to holy shit, we only have to cover 1 episode of Titans. That actually would have worked. That's the only thing I didn't think of. That would have fit. Everything else I was thinking of, I knew wouldn't fit in the character limit.
Well, if you're ready to move on to our next match,
I suppose I can indulge you in your corruption fantasies.
This motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking good.
That motherfucker don't miss, man.
He's good.
In the heat of battle, he don't miss.
No.
In the heat of controversy, he don't miss.
I said it before, and I'll say, you know what? I've said it before, and I will say it again. If Mike Kalinowski this season ends up with the singles belt after multiple teams championships, being the current IG champ, he's the GOAT. It's end of discussion. He's the only ever triple belted. He's the only other player who's been triple belted. If he can do it this season, and he's already playing Bateman, which might as well be a number 1 contender match.
Okay, so it's confirmed. I might have missed something in an interview because I don't think I watched the post-match interviews. He's playing Bateman this week.
Bateman came out, challenged him. Basically, it was very much a gentleman's hey, sport for old time's sake type thing.
But this makes sense for the the bracket. I put that in heavy quotes, but the way these things work until we hit tournament season, where clearly these 2 matches are meant to bleed into each other.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's also the fact that a lot of how the Schmodown works, as we have gleaned from backstage and rundown in the past, is that there's kind of an unofficial, there's basically always an unofficial tournament happening.
Yeah.
Just because it's the easiest way to arrange the pieces on the board, or at least it's how it seems, is that,
I'm sure it makes
such here,
I just kicked my desk so hard and moved my camera.
I thought you moved your chair really hard. I didn't realize you kicked the desk. That's lovely.
And it makes sense from a writing standpoint. It's just way easier to have all of your scenarios planned out for okay, we're going to have Paige and Mike win, and whichever one of them wins has business with Bateman, who we know won his last match. So now we can easily write something for this. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like I said, that's what I assumed was happening. But also when I was watching it at like 3 a.m. the other night, so I was like, okay, skipping the post match this week, it's fine.
No, I watched this morning. I watched
Yeah.
the first match last night right before I went to bed, which is, and I forgot for a moment that Klee had spun opponent's choice again. And I was like, oh, damn, that's right. Because I was very tired last night. But this morning, I woke up early and watched Mike's match, knowing
mean
that I
this
was
week?
rolling the dice. Because I was like, if he loses, this is how I start my day.
Yeah.
You
mean she didn't spin opponent's choice this week?
She didn't? No?
No,
I thought you...
she kept Jennifer Aniston. What I'm saying was
That's right. Yeah. Jennifer Aniston. That's right.
she,
That's right. I'm
should
confusing
roll the
myself
dice on
now.
people. She should roll the dice on people not knowing her weakness because
Yeah.
the I think I can do okay here, and then like she did fine. And then
Yeah,
she
the
won,
way you said that
obviously,
earlier,
it's
I
a
second
joke.
guessed myself and thought that the opponent's choice was Aniston, but okay.
No.
I completely crossed my wires there. Don't mind me.
Yeah, I remember because I didn't watch on Friday. And of course afterwards everything was the rule across the Facebook group.
Yeah,
Which
sorry. I keep
without
accidentally talking over
spoilers,
you.
it was like, okay, so which one of them lost to the rule?
Yeah, I did see a lot of that. I saw Frank's tweet that night where like it was just rules are rules. It sucks was what he said. And at that point I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, there is some amount of, some amount of like type A anal whatever."
Mm-hmm.
I figured it was a the type thing. I thought that a the was forgotten, not that a the was added. And I think the rule is difficult. I think that every time we approach a new way to handle it, it feels unfair. Because like last season, you had people getting away with Tartuga versus Tortuga,
Yeah.
and now a match was decided by Last Action Hero versus the Last Action Hero. And again, rules are rules. I'm not gonna dispute her defeat. Obviously, I think Mike would have. Mike hit his 5, so I think he would have won regardless.
Yeah, I think numbers wise, he's still up a point at the end there. Right?
I mean,
he was up 2 going into round.
Well, no, actually, because she was up 1 going into round 3 because he checked down twice.
Okay.
So
yeah, and then there was right.
So I mean, okay, granted, yeah, okay. So if she hits Last Action Hero, she probably beats him. Which
did she hit her 5?
I believe she did. Let me pull up the
Yeah,
video.
she did. Yeah, I remember she answered like really quickly. Yeah, she got her 5. Yeah, and that's most of the people I saw in the Facebook group weren't being like
dicks about it,
discriminatory against the word the. It was just that like the takeaway from this match should be that Paige Frabetti is I added the R again. Paige Frabetti is still just a force in singles that unfortunately folded to a rule that everyone folds to at some point.
You're right. I think that everyone is going to fall victim to that. And I think it's really funny that the only division that is kind of immune to a lot of this shit is Star Wars.
Yeah, by the nature of like they're allowed to shorten titles in the first place, and
you're allowed exactly because it's like, what other fucking franchise are we going to be talking about? You know, like the Star Wars division is the only Star Wars is the only division where you could shorten a title down to one word. Like if you go in what Star Wars film does Imperial Officer Moff Jarod appear in? And I just said Jedi. I mean, okay, Jedi is a bad example because two of them have Jedi in it. But if you're like, apology accepted, Captain Nita is said in what Star Wars movie, and you can just go Empire. And it probably count. I don't know. I would love for someone in the Star Wars division to roll the dice with that one and see if you can get away with a one-word title.
Now I want so badly for someone, not actually, but I want someone to get got on saying the Attack of the Clones instead of Attack of the Clones.
Dude, I mean, you're
I'm putting
right.
it out there.
You're manifesting this. This is gonna fuck up whoever your favorite Star Wars player is exclusively, though. But yeah, no, I think they were both great. Mike was on fucking fire in round one. That was a really strong round one from Kalinowski.
Yeah. We've seen a lot of strong round ones this season.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, and again, I think, and let the record show, Paige was taken out of the knees by the last action hero dispute. Mike almost lost this match because he didn't know leukemia and lung cancer were two different things. Like, again, KO fan till I die. I thought it was really funny the way that they were like, well, you need to pick one. I was not expecting them to both be in multiple choice.
When he said that and then asked for multiple choice, and like, oh, that's smart to check down. They're both going to be there, aren't they?
Yeah, back to back even. Hold on. Shit. There we go. But yeah, I think he put on a really good showing in round one. Those two checkdowns, like let this be evidence of how much of a hard decision it is to have to check down, because he not only gave up his lead, he lost it. Or like, as in like it could have been tied. Like gave it up as in like they were on equal footing, and then lost it as in she took it. That made more sense in my head, and then I realized that it sounded redundant, even though it wasn't. I know what I meant. Y'all know. Big words. You done though. But yeah, I'm excited for Bateman and Kalinowski again. I'm enjoying Bateman's character development. He seems very he seems like he's calmed down. Oh, another plotline thing. It looks like it is certain that Team Action is no more officially.
I just love that the reason. I love that the reason is that Andrew Guy can't keep jumping over desks because of his back.
I
feel that this week. I feel that. Yeah,
I think opening cutscene this week was really prescient for me.
Yeah, it spoke to me. We've seen Bateman do I'm going to be a decent person now for half a season, and then he slips again. So I'm curious if this one will actually stick.
Well, I mean, Bateman has never promised to stop being a scoundrel. He's only ever promised to be more of a team player in any given moment. And I respect that. I respect the fact that he has never once claimed that he's going to clean up his act in a real meaningful way.
I just realized my hair's kind of doing a Ben Bateman right now.
Your hair looks great. It looked great. It looked really good yesterday. In fact, I meant to tell you. We recorded the main show. I am trying to make the thumbnail as we speak, and the font keeps changing, only the number 48, and it's confusing the hell out of me. Also, just real quick side note for loyal listeners, I've started uploading clips of the podcast. Let me know in the comments of the clips if you like that or not. I'm curious to see what people's thoughts are. Any Hoozles. I think that we're shaping up for an interesting free-for-all with one of the divisions basically going satellite from the rest. IG was Chandru and Kevin a number one contender?
Yes.
I feel like it was. Okay. So Kevin Smets already has a title shot ahead of him. For Kalinowski, Smets 3. Get ready for that day around here, kids. Mom and dad are going to be yelling at each other. I think Alex Damon, frankly, is probably going to be given the opportunity to just jump ahead of the line. It'd be a great May. We talked about this already. It'll probably be whatever they do at Celebration will be Alex Damon v. Thomas Harper, or they'll make Alex play for it and play against Laura or either of the Dimolantas. Either one would be fair. Free for all is going to be interesting. I'm very curious to see how that shapes up. I think there's a lot on the line at free for all this year, because the Schmodown only got started back up like relatively recently. Things are in a very fragile state right now. Like the balance, but we still don't even know full faction lineups.
Yeah. And I think that is the one criticism I'd put against keeping any remnants of that. Like, I get keeping factions, and I get, I like having a limit on how many people can be in a faction.
Yeah.
I don't know that we need the points system anymore.
Do we even still have it, actually?
Technically, I think we're supposed to, but like,
because I haven't seen any faction standings updates in a long time. I think it's defunct at this point.
Because this feels very old school. Like, anyone can start a faction and recruit. Anyone can manage if they want to. That Riley is coaching is also a correct word, but is managing Jacoby Bancroft now. But I don't think they're a faction, technically.
No. I mean, and again, that goes back to old Schmodown where you had managers who just took care of
before
players.
The stars were a thing. Roxy had
she just managed the odd couple.
Yeah, thank you. I was trying to find Schneider in my head and I couldn't get there.
Schneider.
Schneider had Jeff and then had the odd couple.
Yep.
And there was no stars. It was just those two. And that's not like I said, that's not a criticism of our current system. I like our current system a lot.
Yeah, you were one of the biggest people to go to bat for taking a step away from sports stuff. No, I agree with you. I think that there's a value to
it just opens you up so much to matches you can schedule, what managers are willing to do with their players. You don't have to worry quite as much about having something within a faction v faction, especially because now with only having 5 players, you're limited on who can compete and what. Corruption is still probably at some point going to have some 2 people in their own faction playing each other.
there's no way they can't. Corruption is
They're so in everything.
I'm not just saying this to do the usual bit of me, championing corruption all the time. But truthfully, they are like the Giga faction. Like they're all over like the verbiage you just used. They're all over everything. And it's hard for them to not end up coming in conflict with each other because they're so dominant and because they are so spread out all over the place. Yeah. This is weird. You're not used to having like short episodes of number one contender. I mean, it's 40 minutes, but like we're not used to.
We've been dragging for like 10 of that. So
I mean, we've been dragging. I mean, just kind of shooting the shit over stuff. Also, other big plotline thing. We have the new team, The Appointment. I'm very curious to see how they handle themselves. We have and Roxy's right with the stars. It didn't occur to me like her faction is all champs. You had the first FCL champ, champ, former IG champ.
What new team are we talking about right now?
The Appointment,
which is
Nick Harley and Mr. Irwin.
I must have missed that somewhere.
Yes, they are. It's going to be a very interesting team, and I'm very excited to see them play. They will be playing against Eric Zipper and I can't remember the other guy's name. Hold on. Let me just skip to the end of that Titans where they issued the challenge.
Was that in this week's Titans?
Yeah, at the very end.
But I watched the very end.
When Roxy came out?
Oh, the end of the match, and they were doing okay, no, I missed that.
Yeah.
Because
hold on, I'm stuck with an ad.
It's lumped in with the post-game wrap-up. So I skipped to the final cutscene, but not.
Yeah. Yeah, The Appointment is the name of the team. One moment. This is officially The Appointment. Cool name. Yeah, it was someone Roxy managed, I believe, last season.
Oh. Jacoby Bancroft.
I do feel better because Roxy did make a joke. She's like, I don't know if any of you even remember who he is. And to quote Keke Palmer, I do not know who that man is. I am sorry to that man. Every time I try to skip ahead, it's right after she says his name. One moment. Quit saying him. Say his name again, Roxy. Adam Gertler. Adam Gertler and Eric Zipper will be playing against The Appointment. And that sounds to be the main event of next week's Friday Night Titans on the 27th.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Oh. The week after this week.
No. It sounds like the Bateman-Kalinowski thing isn't happening for a while. Bateman actually said, we'll see what happens in 60 days, was Bateman's comment. So it sounds like they will be playing each other in 2 months because I guess the boss is a busy man. Yes. I think that does it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Travis, where can the lovely people find you?
On Twitter and Instagram at Travis Political.
That they can.
Jared.
Yeah.
Where?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552. And you can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com, where if you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon page. Where is he? The clip got moved.
Give me $1.
Speaking of our patrons, thank you to our $10 alumnus. Oh yeah. We finally did the Versus Series stream last night. And during the stream, Paco changed his name. Now, Paco didn't say that I have to do this in Alex Jones's voice. But I'm going to do it in Alex Jones's voice because I feel like he'd prefer it that way. Thank you to Nick Johnson. And use code TDAP at checkout for $5 off Save Infowars. 5 off on SaveInfowars.com. That's $5 on SaveInfowars.com if you use code TDAP.
Maybe I'll walk out of here tomorrow.
Anyway, I'm not going to play the full clip. So yeah, Versus Series is back. We're done with season 2, finally, technically, eventually. We'll be back with a cool... we'll be doing an episode to see what the rematch between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi could be like. So tune in for that. We'll also be having a fresh matchup as well in May. Movie Club, we'll be wrapping up. So bad it's good month this week for patrons, next week for non-patrons. We are recording the Mac and Me episode today, I believe, or tomorrow morning. Today is the audio commentary, barring acts of the scheduling gods. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching and listening. Be sure to click on the student store link on the website so you can check out our TeePublic.
T-Public.com.
Thank you, Wild Berries. So yeah, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, rate, review, do all the things. We are honored that you have joined us, and smash cancer.
Stop. Move away from the cookie.